Hi guys, welcome to Budget with Lizzy. Today we're talking budget categories. So if you guys want to spend a little time with me, stay tuned and here we go. So budget categories. What are they? Why are they important? How they help for the long run? Um, for the last 2 years, I've used the Budget Mom's budget category sheet. But this year, I decided to put one in my new planner. So I created this one just for me, and maybe we don't need to see budget with Lizzy today. So we're gonna go over my budget categories and why I chose them and how we lead into our sinking funds. So when I first started, I didn't know much about budgeting and savings and all that. So and debt, I learned a lot through this process about debt. Um, Budget categories are where you group and organize your spending and your income. This helps to track where your money is going each month and help you figure out, are you spending too much here in one category or too much in another category. And the categories are broad, and then we have subcategories within your major or your core budget categories. So last year the first thing I did to find out where my money is going so I could come up with the categories and come up with sinking fund is I tracked my expenses for like 3 months. I did a number of months, and I'm like, okay, I'm spending money here. I'm spending money in housing. You know what? Let me just take this out. I'm spending money in housing, on food, on entertaining, supplies for the home, all that good stuff. So this is how I came up with my categories. So the first, most people have a couple of major categories that we all have. For example, housing, food, transportation, utilities, stuff like that. You have to keep mindful of. So, of course, housing, either we have rent, we have a mortgage. This could include your property taxes if you own a home, HOA fees if you own a condo, and so you have maintenance on that property. So this year we're gonna put my major category, housing. I do rent, so that will include rent, and I don't pay anything else that has to do with housing, meaning I don't have like water bill or anything like that. So this under housing, the subcategories will be rent for me, and the reason why I put the colors up here, when I go over my budget each month, I want to be able to highlight those areas. Some of my colors came up off, but this one should be peachy pink. But anyway, if you want to, say for example, last year I did this, so I know each color. When I pay my life insurance, I will color it. When it comes out my checking account, I will color it yellow. Fun, I will color it orange, so I know this is what has to do. This had to go. Whatever I spent it on had came out of that budget category. If I went to the doctor, I pay a copay. That came out of my medical category. So that when I'm going over my budget, I know what each expense was. So I might change up a little this year. I think I may use most of them though. So housing includes rent. That's pretty much it. Food. Let's do the major ones first. So food will include groceries, eating out, and we don't want too much of that. say we spending money on drinks, we're having a get together, whatever. We could do alcohol. Am I spelling alcohol around? That's right. Why sometimes you write, that's how you spell alcohol? Hope I didn't spell it wrong. Sometimes you write a word that you always write, and then you look at it and you're like, is that right? So housing, food. Let's do transportation. I don't own a car, so usually sometimes I would take Uber, not all the time. So in an emergency, I'm running late or whatever, and my Metro card. And we try to limit Uber because they're out of control. Utilities we'll do next. So like I said, when you see anything, all these things should correspond with your tracking in your checking account. So if I bought groceries, I will put groceries. I want to know we're touching the food category. If I bought that Uber, we're touching the transportation category. And each category is not, we should have a percentage of, like the major categories should have a percentage each month. Your wants should have a percentage each month. And then your financial goals should have a percentage. And most people follow the 50-30-20 rule, which means 50 goes to your needs, 30 goes to fun, dining out, entertainment, travel, and then 20% goes to your financial goals, which are your savings, investing, and debt repayment. So if you owe more than your income, that's not a good start. More than what you make each year. Utilities. I usually pay for gas and electric. Comes on one bill. And I think that's it for the utilities. I don't have phone. Oh, is internet utility? Do we put internet in utilities? You see, that's because it could go into subscription. No, that's not a subscription. Let's put internet here. Then let's for example, last year I had a pet category, but since we no longer have a pet, I won't include that category this year. Let's do healthcare. It could be dental or medical. I do have a sinking fund for dental and medical. Prescription will come under here. Usually my prescription is just $1, unless my insurance doesn't pay for a particular thing, then we will have to, go into this fund and pay for that prescription. For example, we could also put whatever is not covered by insurance. So healthcare, insurance, and that could include life insurance if you have a car insurance. Most people pay rental insurance because where I live, to have rent insurance is going to be very expensive. So I'm sorry, I don't have rental insurance, although it's something I need to think about. So if I do it, we'll list it here, rental insurance. What about stuff like cleaning supplies and toiletries and stuff like that? What would we put that under? I say household expenses. So we'll do cleaning supplies. I think it's for toiletries. I think so. I think that would be it. Like toilet paper, paper towels, household. Let's put expenses. Um, pet we're not doing. Fun. We could go on outings, movies, if we do concerts, and just pretty much anything that has to do with fun. Anywhere we go. Um, major category. I mean major. Sorry, major category because we can't have work and not play. So we have to have something to have some fun in the mix. Next, we'll do say let's do personal. And all these things can help you come up with your sinking funds. That's how I ended up with my sinking funds. Because I went through my, like I said, my expenses for a couple months and I could see where my money was going. So this is how I came up with all these categories and subcategories and my sinking funds. Personal expenses, self-care supplies, uh, my nails, hair if I do go to the hair salon. Um, why I write a word and I keep thinking it's not right. So, with personal, if you have debt, there could be credit cards. So you have a car payment. What that could be in your mortgage. But since we have that under housing, which is the major category, we leave this as debt as car credit cards and car. Pretty much all we have a personal loan. For holidays, holidays is kind of broad, but that covers holiday celebrations, birthdays. Like I have a sinking fund for birthday. I have a sinking fund for just for me, for my supplies. A sinking fund for outings and fun and stuff. You know, helps you to sinking funds, all that good stuff. Holidays you did. These gifts for whatever reason, baby shower, whatever that is. Savings should have been at the top of the list, but let's do subscriptions. And this one you should be having not too much. I'm talking about I have what subscriptions I have now. I have Kindle, which I can't seem to give up because I love to read. Apple Care, which we need. It's crazy expensive to fix your phone and stuff when they broke. I have iCloud. I'm only paying $2.99. Trying to stay at the lowest. Spotify is still questionable, so we're gonna leave that out for now. Let's do savings in our next column. Savings, we need emergency fund. Right now I'm working on having 3 months expenses. Once I reach 3, we'll just keep going. We'll see how far we can go. Month ahead. That's for me, but everybody's categories are gonna be different. Everybody's subcategories will be different. My savings challenges. You guys know I love my savings challenges. It helped me a lot. It makes it fun to save, and it makes it not, you're not conscious of it. So it's like a routine. Sinking funds. And your sinking funds. I think this is all my, we had one very important one, giving or donating. Let's put support. So we have donations. Like I have a giving envelope, sinking fund, helping family. And they always need help. Giveaways. Tips. I think I will cover my giving and support section. And I think that's all the categories I wanted to have this year. And then miscellaneous. We're gonna have a buffer to help us out and unplanned spending. I have to look at the time because I have to get ready for work. I'm trying to do this before work. So this is all my category. These are all my categories for 2026. I want to strive to have, like I said, a 50, 30, 20% ratio rule. So 50% in my needs, 30% in wants, and 20% in savings, investing, and paying off debt, which I really don't have a lot of debt. So these are my categories. It was fun to put together when I was going through stuff. Like I said, these lead to your sinking funds. So I have my sinking funds binders here, and as you can see, and I have a separate binder for bills, which will include the rent and stuff like that for each month. I don't have a sinking fund for rent. I just realized, like, a sinking fund in case I need extra money, but I will use the bills binder to do that. So, for example, household supplies, my buffer, which comes under miscellaneous, medical, dental, moving. Sometimes you have a category where you're just saving for, this will come under savings, I guess, because I'm saving for future moving. So I have a moving binder, envelope, sinking fund. So we're saving for like a major expense. Once you have your 50, 30, 20 rule, then you need to figure out we have what are fixed and what are variables. So expenses, fixed expenses would be your mortgage, your rent. The amount is the same every month. Car insurance may be the same every month for the year, unless it changes the next year. But you know the amount is coming. Variable expenses could be your groceries, because every time you go to the grocery store, it's different. It's a different amount. So these are major might be fixed. My Uber might be a variable. Dental copay, your copay is always the same whether you do specialist in that, you know the amount because it's on your card. So that will be a fixed expense. I don't divide mine in fixed or variable. I just list my expenses and whatever it is. Household expenses could be variable because you don't know your paper towel might be on sale this week and it's not on sale the next week, pretty much. So you also might have, like I said, different categories. Everybody have different categories. It could be family and kids. So you have kids, you have to pay for daycare, school supplies, activities, um, sinking funds is a category, which is this, and we base it off of your categories. Pets, like I said, if you have a pet, that could be vet visits, grooming, and all that, and then you would have a sinking fund to cover all that stuff. This one, I'm saving 3 months expenses, which will come under my emergency fund. A year of insurance, so I'm using this as a set an amount for me to save a year of life insurance payments so that I can pay it for a whole year and don't have to bother with it each month. Christmas, we're spending the Christmas sinking funds, and that would fall under holidays. Let's put Christmas right here. That's the holiday we spend most money on gifts. Groceries, of course. I have a grocery sinking fund and I also have a bills grocery envelope. So I'm trying to save money for groceries everywhere because that's like the one of the major expense each month. And have family, my mom, unexpected or unplanned. I gotta build this up this year. I plan to do a savings challenge each month just for my sinking funds. And then we have the kind of not so important sinking funds in this one, like vacations. I mean, they're important, but they're not major. My son's birthdays for friends and family, an investment that has to do with savings, giving, see, like giving, donating category, prescriptions goes under my medical, healthcare, tips, again, under support, Amazon Prime, subscription, YouTube, wait a minute, under subscriptions, I then put BJ's and Amazon Prime. I mean, I canceled Amazon Prime right now at the moment, so I will save just in case I want to put it back on again. Because I see it as a not necessary because I'm not really buying anything unless it's like a holiday time. So I paid for December month and then cancel it again. So travel, again we have transportation, family, co-workers, and then we have miscellaneous. So you need your categories, your budget categories, to be able to create your sinking funds, to be able to track your funds, track your money, track your income, track your expenses, make sure everything is on point. And at the end of the month, if you see that you're spending 50% on fun and 50% on needs and no savings, then that's a problem. And we're going to do the 50, 30, 20 rule, which includes 50% on needs. I'm just going to write it here. 50% on needs, 30% on wants, and 20% on savings. And that's cool. If you see that you don't have much, you don't really do a lot of wants, or then you know that more you can put that money into savings. So if you say your ratio or your rule is 50-50 needs and savings, then that's what it is. So budget categories help to monitor your expenses and set up your sinking funds. So if you guys haven't done this yet and you're trying to save and you're trying to budget and see where your money is going, this is a very good way to start. First, you have to track all your expenses in your checking account, see where your money is going, come up with your categories, come up with your sinking funds, and then everything will just come together. So if you guys enjoyed the video, I hope you learned something today. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.